2022 F150 with a 5-liter. I'm gonna swap out this oil separator here. Well, I've never really been thrilled with the build quality of this guy. I love the oil canister because of the little drain valve right here, but the fact that they supplied me with rubber air hose here, and not even being a year old, it's already cracking, so kind of had enough of it. Proving Grounds is the brand. If you're interested, it was about $60 on AmericanTrucks.com. Again, you know, great idea, poor execution. I had to basically, these hose clamps, which look like garbage on a brand new truck, and same thing down there. I had to cut the hose to length, which never thrilled with either, but I went with it because I was just curious initially to see how much this thing would actually breathe and consume its own oil, which it doesn't do a lot. I empty this guy every 5,000 miles when I do a oil change, and I probably get maybe an ounce or two. This is a 7-ounce container. It's nowhere near full every time I change oil. Got about 20,000 miles on the truck now, so I'm gonna swap it out for something a little higher quality here. This is a J&L oil separator. Does not have the canister on the bottom. It's a much smaller capacity, but much higher build quality. It's already got the fittings all pressed on there. The hose already cut to length. Already got the quick connectors for the PCV valve and the breather. So let's get her started here. The Milwaukee ratchet here for 10 millimeter on the bolts, and just a DeWalt impact gun with screwdriver. That's a number 2 Phillips bit on it. Yes, I'm not a brand queen. I buy whatever's on sale at the time. This was on sale at the time, and that was on sale at the time. I don't care. I'm not brand loyal. Doesn't really pay off to be brand loyal anymore. Also wanted to point out, they supplied this junky hose with this Proving Grounds one. It's already cracked. Just not really thrilled with the quality of the hose or the actual assembly, but the canister is a great idea. But anywho, we're gonna start by disconnecting the old hoses. Focus. Push down, pull off. There's one. All the way down here. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. Let's see if I can get to it. There you go. Snip, snip, snip this line without cutting the other hose. Alright, she's off. Alright, we're gonna make our lives a little easier. I'm just gonna take this canister off right now. One. Probably fall, but that's okay. There she goes. En route. Grab that, make sure it doesn't fall in anywhere. Toss it in that box over there. Same thing here. Toss in the box. Right on. Take this guy out of here. Just gonna set him off to the side. Right there looks good. Right on. We're gonna grab this other bracket here. I was right. It should be 10 millimeter. I am. I knew I was right. Helps if you set the ratchet in loosen mode. Really hard to do with one hand here. Oh, conveniently these bolts were actually loose already. Oh, nope, I was in loosen mode. I was in tighten mode. Oops. Go back. All right, there we go. Come on. One. Ooh, that one. Right on, we got it. Bolt. And another bolt. Ooh, we were in there a little tighter, I thought. Come on. Yeah, there. Did you know I have limited time on this? Alright, brackets out. Bam. I had to bend this when I originally installed it, just so that the old separator would kind of sit level, and I was always kind of worried how high it sits it was going to smack the hood. It never did, but I was just a bit paranoid. All right, turns out it's my lucky day. The bracket for this guy, the J&L, is the same exact style bracket as the Proving Grounds bracket, so I didn't have to modify any of the holes that I had previously drilled for that last one. So we're just gonna slowly tighten her down. Don't need to go all He-Man on it. Just give her a little snug in there. Make sure she's happily tight. Don't need to go crazy on it. That's good enough right there. All right. So didn't get a chance to film this because I needed 2 hands to finish this last bit anyway. But just so you're aware, or just in case anyone's doing the same specific mod, the logo that there's a logo that matches this top logo here on top of the canister. It needs to go in the same orientation as the logo that's on top of the bracket. That way it makes sense for how you're going to orient the hoses here. The 90-degree hose goes on the valve cover right there. The 45-degree goes over there on top of the kind of looks like the intake, but it's actually the crankcase breather hose right there. So one thing I did have to do is I had to spin this this fitting right here to make this hose routing make sense. Other than that, this is a really easy install, perfect install if that. Even looks better than the last one. This looks like it was meant to be there, a little more professional looking. I'm gonna zip tie them guys down real quick, and then we'll be all good to go. Alrighty, zip tie, and zip tie. Now she won't rub up against anything, rub a hole into anything like that. So you may wonder, why would you want to do one of these mods? Well, everything nowadays is direct injection, with the exception of this truck. This specific engine has 16 injectors. It has direct injection and port injection. First 8 are direct injection, run all the time. Second 8 are port injection. They kick in when there's a demand for fuel, and the variable valve timing demands more fuel. Those kick in for extra fuel. And it's fuel saving, blah blah blah. All other cars that don't have a second set of injectors and port injection, direct injection poses one major issue, which comes up in all of the direct injection engines, which is coking on the back of the intake valves. Fuel and port injection sprays in the backside of the valve, washes any kind of contaminants away, especially with you have breather hoses now, PCV, that ventilates a lot of the crankcase ventilation back into the intake, and it causes, it's misty, oily air, gets in the back of the valve, collects a bunch of contaminants, and then eventually you have valves that can't properly shut or open because they're all gunked up on the backside of them, causes all kinds of codes, poor performance on the engine. Then you have to take them in, and they either do one of two things. They either do a walnut blasting to blast away all the gunk on the back of them, or they do a chemical wash on the back of the valves. Just an unnecessary expense that you end up having to do maintenance wise on the vehicle. A lot of dealerships try to sell you a valve train wash. Absolutely ridiculous. This is $150. This one was $60. I would probably use that again if I was strapped for cash. I would just buy a better hose, and it would be just fine. But I had big boy money, so spent the $150 on this nicer guy here. And yeah, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.